across the board, this is telling, and it speaks to what I was originally going to record a video about. He's going to mention numerous points in this video. All of these points could be man-made. They could be manipulated. And they likely are. I mean, they are. They fucking are. But people like this will circulate garbage like this, and lots of people will repeat it. What I want you to think about is here on TikTok, if I said this guy is a fucking retard and he is promoting propaganda, the comment would be removed. It would be challenged. I could appeal it and it would be removed. Which means if anybody else out there is doing things like that, remotely similar to what I've just rattled off, and some of you might get your feelings hurt. You might, get your panties stuck in your fucking crack. But if we can't challenge each other, that means that propaganda freely flows across the fucking DARPA internet unhindered. That's a problem. That's a fucking problem. More importantly, freedom of speech should exist. Technically, you and I, we are free beings. And that's what people start dressing up as rights. Then you start marginalizing it, and you start giving it names. Then you start taking them away. One by one. And that's what we see track. But most people have bought into the, they'll complain about, I reject authority and fuck the system. And then they will quite literally reaffirm narratives, the official narratives that back up everything you would think of in terms of authority and the fucking system. If people looked into things instead of buying into things, they open their eyes instead of their mouth and all this stuff that I constantly fucking rattle off, because it should resonate with you, but the only way that it would is if you use the brain in your fucking skull. And people don't. They do not. I pinched this video. I'm going to slap it in here in a second. This is propaganda. It's fucking garbage. And this guy's also going to tell you that it's predictions. It's a prediction. It predicted this, that, and the other thing. No, our masters have a fucking game that they're playing. It's the long game. So they put something in motion years ago and orchestrated some events and just rolled them out on a fucking schedule, as I often say. And stupid fucking superficial retards such as this, if he bought into it or he's getting paid to do this, remains to be seen. But other stupid fucking superficial retards have circulated this, which I just got off track with what I was getting at, because I'm just fucking sick and tired of being censored, having nobody fucking think about these things, and being surrounded by stupid fucking superficial retards. Aliens don't exist. UFOs don't, technically not where you're told they come from. They're man-made, if you do see something. Many of them are drones, if you do see something. Some of them are just lights in the sky, but man-made, if you do see something. Or it's bullshit. You can think of what people have been spoon-fed now and are familiar with or accustomed to. AI videos. That shit existed long before it was spoon-fed to the public. And so a lot of the fucking video footage that you did see, what do you fucking think it is? What do you think it fucking was? So you have people rattle off, it's a prediction. Because they aren't very bright. They'll literally repeat anything, which means they work for our masters, and they're fucking everything up. They are fucking everything up for you and I, and they don't realize it, because they're also paving the way for the next fucking step in these agendas. I'm just shaking my head as usual, because if I could get through to people, yeah, we would be better off. We would be better off. But instead they repeat the sensational dog shit. So 2,239 fucking morons reposted this, which means they circulated the propaganda, and 15,000 thought this was a good thing to see on TikTok, because TikTok's full of fucking information. They were trying to take my information away. Because that's what they were spoon-fed to repeat, and they did. And then all the TikTok lemmings ran to fucking Red Node, and it's just that easy to herd idiots. It's just that easy to manipulate gullible fucking dopes. And you and I are surrounded by them. I don't remember how I was going to word half of the other stuff that I was thinking about earlier. I was thinking about life, and I was reflecting on life and how I've always kind of felt like an outsider. I've always kind of, I mean, I have an abandonment complex and a number of other things, but that's based on one too many things that have happened to me throughout my life. It's just something that's fixed in my life, and it's something that I've had to cope with. So you just get on with it. But I've always felt like I was looking in on things, even when I had groups of friends. To some degree, I mean, I kind of felt some love, you know what I mean, and this, that, and the other thing. And that's part of what I was dwelling on when I got home. Was many years ago, I had a fairly large circle of friends, for the most part. A lot of them were acquaintances, but still I had some friends, and we would keep up with each other here and there. But then I pulled my head out of my ass, and I looked around, and I thought back to the old days when I used to try to talk to people about shit back then. What I'm getting at is religion and government, things that people haven't figured out yet. I remember I had two fucking knucklehead acquaintances, and I've mentioned them before, and they would just recite law verbatim without thinking about any of it. Which goes back to what I was saying about you and I are technically free, and then we marginalize it once we start giving it fucking, numerous categories, etc., and then they're taken away, and that's exactly what we see happen. That's what happened. That's what's still happening. Either way. But I would try to interact with people, and they would shut down then just about that shit. So when I pulled my head out of my ass in 2012, people just walked out the door. They ran for the hills. They freaked the fuck out. They asked me if I was talking about satire, for fuck's sake. And when I told them no, many of them, I mean, they unfriended me. They blocked me. They ranted at me and then blocked me. And the list goes on. But for the most part, all those people that I knew, I don't know any of them from the old days, I don't think, for the most part, that have taken the time to consider anything that I ever had to say. Not one. And that's fucking terrifying. It's really sad to me, too. It does make me laugh. Because society conditions people. Saw a video online earlier today, and it was superficial shit. It came from like an old Christian video, but the end of the message made sense. The end of the message was talking about how programming, media, entertainment, that's what's conditioning the masses. That's what softens your fucking brain. And then you act accordingly. And it's not, I mean, it's what was said in that message is true. It's not off base. But now entertainment has, you should think of social programming or social propaganda, what people call social media on free social engineering platforms. I'm talking about the same fucking thing, as a form of entertainment. It's an extension of entertainment. If you've heard me talk about the Disclosure Project and how it branched off and got a new name, is now known as Gaia, it's no different. Just think of Hollywood movies or what people call Netflix now, TV shows on the box. It's the same fucking song and dance when you jump into one of these fucking apps. You are being conditioned to repeat garbage, fucking flat out propaganda. And it's going to be the top of the stack. It's going to be the first fucking thing you see when you log in, especially TikTok. Instagram, it's going to be a fucking ad, Insta Spam, LifeLog 2.0. YouTube, for a second they were just knocking out ads. Now it's an ad at the top sometimes. And either way, YouTube's a little, pardon me, it's a little better, but it's still dog shit. And that's just a few of them. I mean, Snapchat is exclusively for stupid fucking people. Exclusively for stupid fucking people. You can't leave anything on Snapchat that means a goddamn thing. And for the most part, you can leave some stuff on TikTok, but people won't see it. And I'm speaking from experience. They will not fucking see it if it fucking matters. And if I'm not mistaken, the quota of views, because currently I think there is a quota on TikTok here and there, depending on the variables involved. If I'm not mistaken, the quota will be fulfilled by bots. There should be no interaction with bots or AI whatsoever. Why would we do that anyway? It's social media. It's humans interacting with humans. It shouldn't be humans interacting with fucking machines in that capacity at all. There should be no wiggle room for that. But it's been normalized and it's been accepted and people just run with it. Right now, I saw last night, there were a bunch of old birds online on TikTok, and they were throwing out 3 different words, and they were really excited about it. But they were also kind of confused, and they were a little disheartened. And they were saying, you need to look these 3 words up right now. So I was like, all right, I'll bite. Let's see what they're fucking shopping around, because they were saying it had to do with AI. So I was like, all right, what are they talking about? And they called it, I think it's Silver Fox Ranch. And it's like Chippendales online, but it's AI. Just AI. And it's it's supposedly, AI or digital fucking cow dudes walking around with bulls and shit. And these girls, they were getting wet between the legs and thrilled by fucking AI garbage, and they didn't have eyes to see. Because right now you can spot AI from a mile away. It's rounded. It's got, how should I put it? It feels disharmonious to me is one way I could put it. It's creepy. It doesn't feel right. It's like the old days in the programming when you'd see somebody cross-dressing and you could spot it, and it just didn't feel right because it's not right. It's a dude's a dude and a gal is a gal, and when you see him, trying to be something that they're not, it stands out like a sore thumb. Same thing happens now, and some of them have plastic surgery, and some of it looks a little bit more well-rounded in real life. I'm talking flesh and blood, but you still know on a deep level if you're paying attention and, remotely fucking intuitive. But most people aren't, because you and I are surrounded by superficial fucking retards. In case you'd like something to parallel with the Silver Fox Ranch, a while back, I saw all these Asian gals online, and I am kind of a sucker for Asian gals. Some, not all, depends. Maybe I shouldn't go into specifics, but just the same, these ones were extra buff. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Why do they all have virtually the same 6-pack and or 8 or 12-pack? I was like, what is this garbage? So I contacted the dude or whoever's behind it. It's called Mikey's World. You might have seen it. And I said, is this shit AI? I just want you to confirm it for me. And he's like, yes, it is. It's AI. It's all AI generated. This, that, and the other thing. And people are fucking buying subscriptions to that shit. To that phony fucking dog shit. Because you and I are surrounded by superficial fucking retards. It's terrifying. The reason I just paused is a lot of people I fucking care about. And they have catered to the numerous agendas that have paved the way for what we're experiencing today. Myself included, to varying degrees, because I didn't pull my head out of my ass until 2012. So I was part of the problem in a big way then. Except for, government and religion. That was like the 2 things I feel like I had a grip on. And after that, now I could teach you things that would fucking flip your lid. I left a video online last night just telling people on YouTube, if you guys fucking watch the video, if 100 people fucking watch the video, I will throw you a bone. You probably still won't get it, but you might. And it's part of what I've alluded to having to do with my entropy map. Why we die. I can show you why we die, if I'm not mistaken. And what I was going to throw you guys, it's a more superficial version. And it's more socially digestible in terms of it having to do with a video game. And it's something that you could look up, you could reason with, you could reason out. And you might take it and be able to use it as a tool. I mean, you should by all rights, but most people probably couldn't. But you never know. But I was going to just spoon feed that to people for free. And this is how fucking ridiculous it is, because people don't see my videos. So the likelihood of 100 people seeing that video on YouTube is next to none. Highly unlikely. But if they do, I'll tell you guys that stuff. Now keep in mind, for years, I was just leaving things, and this is 2012 to roughly about 3 years ago. I think I started pulling back the reins more so. I stopped just spoon feeding you guys stuff. But prior to that, I bought 2 chalkboards at one point, and I was trying to just fucking show you guys answers to reality that nobody fucking understands. You don't see them come up. They're not in books. People you know, like, and love don't know these things. You're not supposed to know these things. Our masters clearly know these things, because if you took notes and you considered what I had to say, you would start to see it. You would see it in the fucking programming. Because it's behind the superficial slop that's in place to manipulate you. Soften your brain, as it were. And it proves that our masters know these things because they paid money to fucking set up sets and embed these things in the fucking programming because it's a consent-based system. So they're still telling you about the same shit that I could teach you that people do not know, while coincidentally, telling you quite the opposite on a superficial, stage with celebrity puppets. And most people just take that away and they run with it because their brains are quite soft. Softer than fill in the fucking blank if you can think up a clever analogy. Most of you probably can't. You probably can't. And that should fuck with you. Do you use emojis? Because that might be one of the reasons why you couldn't come up with a clever analogy. One of many reasons. And one of many examples of how we're being fucking dumbed down and manipulated. If I've been talking for too long and you just wanted to watch this stupid fucking dog shit, this superficial fucking dog shit, you should also consider the fact that you're being manipulated and our masters are doing away with attention spans. Did you have a knee-jerk reaction? Oh my God, that video is more than a minute. That's longer than 60 seconds. Which also reminds me of something else. I told you guys if 100 people fucking saw that other YouTube video, it does relate to what I just mentioned in terms of time. It's part of it. Just to give you a little something in case you do sit through this. It's so fucking neat, but yeah. What the fuck do I know? I'll splice this into this stupid fucking video. Yeah. Oh, but first, how many people are following this shit? 33,000 people. That means he is shopping around nonsense. Absolute shit. Absolute shit. Now he says he's a wannabe astronomer, and he's talking about fucking UFOs. If I'm not mistaken, that means he believes in the globe theory, which means he's the furthest away from fucking astronomy. That's a bad way to put it. He's further from where he would like to be than he should be if he truly wanted to be, an astronomer. Pseudoscience. If you're a flat earther, you're not far removed from that. You're still off in fucking left field, or however you want to think of it. Fucking playing with shit. Playing with cow patties. And you don't have a fucking clue. And it's because you guys aren't cooking with fire. You guys are using an outline that is in place to mislead you. Both of those are our master's outlines. In many ways, they're both similar. And I've talked about that numerous times. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the fucking videos in the accounts that I moderate, that I have, that are still public. I made a lot private, but some of those are still public. Because that's superficial shit you should fucking know, and people don't. Which is what I keep complaining about. Either way. Like I said, I jumped on here and I was going to record a video about the old days and how lonely it was then, how lonely it is now, how frustrating it was then, and it's worse than I ever thought it was in terms of how people are, who people are, what people are willing to do. Both ways. I mean, they're not willing to buckle down and think, and they are more than willing to fucking walk in lockstep and do what our masters want. And 2020 to the fucking present day is a great example of that. How many people cater to, I bring this up in town because there's numerous businesses, how many people cater to segregation based on that? And that's something people don't want to talk about. They do not want to talk about that. I've left a lot of comments online with some of the businesses that promoted segregation here in Portland, Oregon, and people have fucking freaked out. But there's no denying it because they actively promoted segregation. Roughly 2021 to 2023 or 2022 at least, but it was segregation in modern times in Portland, Oregon, and it was absolutely ridiculous. It was fascist shit. It was disgusting. It was deplorable. But a good majority of people bought into it, and people still supported those businesses. I mean, that should just make your stomach hurt. That should bother you. But it didn't bother people. I mean, now it's 2024. The new year begins in March 21st. And it's going to be 2025 soon. And people still aren't bothered by that. In fact, I've brought it up with some people, and they've told me, dude, that's in the past. Get over that. Have you ever seen somebody freak out when it comes to the color of our skin, when somebody says, get over that, that's in the past. It's no different. These things happened, and they shouldn't have happened. Because you and I should have been surrounded by and large, good people, willing to do the right fucking thing. Willing to stand up for what fucking matters. Especially right now with how many kids, and think of TikTok in particular, talking about how they're smart, there's this, that, and the other thing. They're activists. And they're doing, what matters. They're fighting for this, that, and the other thing. A lot of them, I mean, they're on the awareness wagon, and they're promoting, what is it fucking called? The Earth is dying, or however the fuck, how do they word that? I can't think of it right now. Global warming's one of it, or global cooling, both of those. I mean, it's all man-made shit based on HAARP, HAARP. And people have forgotten what that is entirely because it's not circulated as much as it used to be. It still exists. Those installations are rampant. They're all over the place. And there's a very large one in a very strategic place, if I'm not mistaken, where you and I are not allowed to go. And that doesn't come up because people don't understand that. And now there's sensational fucking adult fairy tales associated with the landmass that I'm talking about. For a very good reason. Because if you're talking about all that garbage, you're not talking about what I'm talking about. What I'm alluding to. What is it called anyway? No, I can't think of it. Essentially, Mother Nature, is turned inside out and, being a bitch. And people are like, oh my God, we gotta save the planet. Planets don't exist. We don't live on one. Earth is a fucking element. You stupid, stupid fucks. But people will repeat anything. And they're reaffirming the narratives. Which means they're walking in lockstep, they're promoting the propaganda, and that's why these agendas exist in the first place. And there are so many goddamn examples. And you don't see them come up. They're not on TikTok. Just for the superficial kids out there, some of the most superficial shit that I could teach you, things that I think are superficial that do reflect reality and would go somewhere, you could use it as a fucking tool, you don't see them on TikTok. It's not on TikTok. And it would be on TikTok if the kids on TikTok had just the slightest fucking grip on what's going on. But they're chasing each other's tails, promoting propaganda. I know I'm kicking a dead horse right now, but it is absolutely fucking true. And if you go through the videos in my accounts, you could reason out what I'm talking about and say, holy fucking shit. He's right. I haven't heard that stuff before. Why haven't I heard that stuff before? Why don't people know those things? Oh, look, I looked up some of the stuff that this fucking bastard rattled off on the DARPA internet, and it fucking leads somewhere. And lo and behold, it's fucking connected to the other stuff that he rattled off. That's weird. All the stuff that I heard on TikTok, or I read in a fucking, CIA-sanctioned book, or my friends were fucking telling me about when we were getting drunk at the fucking bar, all that shit's disconnected. Doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't mean anything, because it is fuck all. It's a rabbit hole, a paradigm. It's bullshit. Adult fairy tales for stupid fucking superficial retards. Like this guy.
It did it. It predicted the future. The computer program, the one that was made in 2010, predicted that's exactly what's happening. It predicted exactly what's happening right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in 2010, a computer program was made by a guy named Cliff High. The computer program predicted that in the future, Donald Trump would be interviewed by Joe Rogan, and that 39 days after that interview, we would start seeing UFOs, UAP, in the sky. But it very specifically said there would be two kinds of UAP, and our craft as well, man-made craft. And what are we seeing? We are seeing two kinds of UFOs, orbs, and the ones that kind of look like drones. We are seeing our craft as well, chasing after them. This is happening all over the world. There is no denying it. This computer program made this prediction 15 years ago. And Joe Rogan, I don't even think he had his podcast back then. And Trump certainly wasn't president. It predicted it all. I did a video on it last month. I pinned it. Go take a look at it. I think it's called The Prediction. This is exactly what it said was going to happen. It did it. If I wasn't entirely sure before, I am now. This is unprecedented what we're seeing. I could understand if this computer program predicted something that was normal or that we see regularly, but it made such a specific prediction. It is happening. Gotta admit, I'm a little freaked out. I want to know what else this computer program said, because I don't know if it made any predictions past this, but I'll tell you, that thing was right on the money. And for those of you who are saying these aren't extraterrestrial, because these aren't alien craft, does this look man-made to you? What about this one? Does this look man-made? You remember, that's what the program said. It said there's going to be a mix. Very specifically, that is what we are seeing. It did it. It fucking did it. If anyone knows what else this computer program predicted, I would love to know. And again, you don't believe me? You don't have to take my word for it. Go look at the video. Go look at the prediction. Type in Cliff High computer prediction. There you go. It did it.